Thank you for clicking on the video. My name is Bryon, and today we're going to talk about 10 tips for beginner photographers. Tip number 1 is to get to know your camera. No one wants to be the guy that's out taking photos for a client and you don't know how to work your own camera, and it takes you 15 minutes in between photos. It gets even more awkward than it already is to be in front of a camera. Learn your camera. Learn all the buttons, all the dials. Make sure you can work it. Tip number 2 is experiment with settings. Figure out how the ISO, shutter speed, and aperture affects the image and what you prefer best. Figure out what focal lengths you like to shoot at. Every single thing you manipulate on your camera gives a different feel to an image, and the only way to know what you actually like to do is to experiment with all of it. Don't be afraid to take risks and try new things. Tip number 3 is to get a tripod. Not only will this allow you to take photos of yourself potentially, but it also gives you the freedom to experiment with longer exposures for night photography, astrophotography, which is a whole different world. Tip number 4 is to pay attention to your composition. Again, everything is subjective. Art is not the right way or the wrong way, but pay attention to center framing, the rule of thirds, leading lines, and foreground and background elements affect your image. Tip number 5 is to learn about light. What you're doing is capturing light in a photo. If you know how to capture light well, and then you can just put your subject in that light, that makes for a great photo. Experiment with different types of lighting, see how they affect the mood of your image. Knowing how light works is the best knowledge, and then you can take that knowledge and apply it to all different types of photography. Tip number 6 is to get up close and personal. I don't think anyone wants to have a session with a photographer who is half a mile away with a 600mm lens shooting you. If you have clients and they're hiring you for a shoot, make sure to make it personal to them. That's a really good way to make a good connection with people and give them something more than just the photos. They get a really good experience as well. Tip number 7 is to find your own style. There's so many photographers out there that are just copying off every single person they see on the internet or every other person in their local area. There's nobody that's you other than you. That is what's going to set you apart. That is what is going to make your voice unique in the photography world. Find your style, not someone else's. It is important, however, whenever you're very first getting started, to learn how other people are doing what they're doing, not for the sake of ripping them off, but for the sake of pulling some techniques you wouldn't have otherwise used into your own work and in your own voice. Tip number 8 is to take your time. One of the first things you see photographers offering is mini sessions. While this can be good to get people in and out quickly, it also causes you to rush your shots and think of things really quickly on the fly. That is a really good skill to have, but you shouldn't have to rush every single shot. Some good things take time, and if you slow everything down to be conscious about what you're doing, you're likely to make a better, solid image. Tip number 9, and this goes with almost anything in life: practice, practice, practice. The more you do something, the better you will get at it. There is nothing that can replace experience. You can look up videos on YouTube and get the knowledge, but putting that knowledge into practice, it takes experiencing it. If you're just getting started and you don't have anything to shoot, contact friends, family members, local businesses. Everyone needs photography. See if you guys can exchange value where you're getting experience and they're getting photos. Not everything has to be about the money with photography. That's why a lot of people get into this and fail really quickly. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme with photography. You either put in the work or you don't, and it's really easy to tell the people who don't put in the work. You'll see them for a month or two and then they will disappear. You have to actually put in the work. And finally, tip number 10 is to have fun with it. If you're not going out with your camera just to have some fun every once in a while, you're going to get burnt out. No matter what you're doing, you're going to get burnt out. And yes, I need to take this advice myself sometimes. Being a photographer is supposed to be enjoyable. Not everything's supposed to be so stressed. So if you're doing this to start a business or doing this to just make it a hobby, which I think a lot more people should actually do, keep it fun. This is something I'm struggling with right now. I shoot a lot of paid stuff, so I always have to be working, and I haven't been taking my camera out just to have fun with it. And that's something I need to make a priority myself. Go out and capture some photos in your unique voice, in your way, and share them just for the fun of it. Thank you for watching the video today. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything else I can help you guys with. Like the video if you like the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.